All right, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park. Again, my name is Hunter Miles Davis. I'm here at New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park. We are here in our beautiful courtyard here to celebrate, as you all know, the African American History Month. So today we have the pleasure and the treat for you of having such amazing musicians and artists being here with us by the way of many different areas. So we have Baba Luther here from the Congo Preservation Society. We also have Mama Jamila, who will be operating as our visual artist today and dancing with us. We have one of our other newest park rangers, Miss Jade Purdue, and she'll introduce herself in just a couple of seconds. And then we also have Mr. Lakin from Nigeria. So, Jade, give the people a little bit of information about yourself.
Okay. All right. I'll come up. Oh yes. Oh yes. Hello. How y'all doing? We gotta have our mic on. Well, just want to say hello and welcome to the New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park. Again, my name is Jay Purdue. I am the newest ranger here at this park. My background has been in vocal music, jazz music, and a little bit of classical music, but I've had the pleasure of joining these drum classes and interactive, I don't want to say drum circle because it's not, that's kind of a generic term, but more so community circles on the Saturdays and learning so much about rhythm. So I know Mama Jamila and Baba Luther will go into these terms a little bit more deeply and, explain the culture and the history behind, the music that we use in New Orleans music today. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And I want to pass it along to Mama Jamila or Baba Luther. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to invite you not to sit back, but I'm going to invite you to fully join us. And as you join us today, we're going to welcome you with a traditional song that actually the words are in the Yoruba language. And they were brought to us by a wonderful anthropologist, cultural anthropologist, Pearl Primus. And as she traveled through the African diaspora, she heard these words and she saw these movements and heard the rhythm that you're going to hear. And the name of it is funga. So it is still interactive, even though you're on the other side of the screen. So when I say funga, what do you say?
Lafia.
Oh, alafia. Alafia means peace. So as we go forward, and peace, we're talking about wellness and healing today. And that's very important in my life because as I travel through life, God has led me to be a nurse. So healing is part of my everyday pieces. And I work in the intersection of community, culture, and faith. And when you have those things, you have wellness. And so we're talking about wellness, and wellness goes far beyond health. Far beyond health. So there'll be some parts that I'll ask you to join us as we go along. But right now, I'm going to ask Baba Luther to tell you a little bit about the drums we're playing before we get started on the rhythm. So I need the mic.
Well, as we say once again, welcome, Alafia. So we have the djembe family of drums that come out of the Mali Empire. So we have all the djembes. We got the dunduns, the bass drums, the dundun, the kinkini, and the somba. We got the djembes. We got shakerays. We got everything. So we're going to be playing the rhythm of funga on our djembes today. And we also have our special guest, all the guests from Nigeria, Lakan. Lakan's here with us, so he's going to be showing us something from Nigeria as well. And so we're going to start out with funga. So when we play djembes, with African drumming, it's all about language. It's about African languages or tonal languages. So when we say Odabo, we can play that on the drum. Lakan, Odabo, how are you? Alafia. This is how Africa translates their languages on the drums. And so we're going to do that with funga. So over here, my sister's going to be starting out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And if you don't have a drum, and it's a call and response, which is a whole part of the life and breath that our African ancestors brought us. You hear it in the jazz music. When the trumpet plays, ba-bum-bum-bum, the instruments respond, ba-bum-bum-bum. So when I say these words, you're going to do that part too. And the words are, Funga alafia, ashe, ashe.
Funga, alafia, ashe,
Ashe.
Funga alafia, ashe, ashe.
Funga alafia.
I don't hear you.
Ashe.
You just said welcome. I wish you peace. So welcome to New Orleans. I wish you peace. Second phrase. Kagwa Yeshua. Ashe, ashe.
Yeshua.
Ashe. Ashe.
Kagwa Yeshua. Ashe, ashe.
Agua. Ashua. Ashe. Ashe.
And you just said that you pray the guardian of everything has brought you here safely. Third phrase we imported from Ghana, West Africa. And when the leader or elder says, I go, it means may I have your attention. And you say, I may. Let's try it out. I go.
Amen.
I go.
Amen.
I go.
Amen.
Let's try that song out. A little hand clap now. And I need to hear you from wherever you are. Funga alafia, ashe, ashe. You sing.
Funga alafia. Ashe.
Yeah, sounding
Ashe.
good. Funga alafia, ashe, ashe.
Funga alafia. Ashe. Ashe.
Hagwa Yeshua, ashe, ashe.
Agua. Alua. Ashe. Ashe.
Hagwa Yeshua, ashe, ashe.
Agua. Ashua. Ashe. Ashe.
I go. I go.
Amen.
I go.
Amen.
I go.
Amen.
All right. Let me let the drummers get warmed up a little bit. Hangwa Yeshua, Ashe, Ashe. Yeah, sounding good. Hangwa Yeshua, Ashe, Ashe. I go, I go, I go, I go. So I hope you feel welcome. And I can tell you from my standpoint, I'm feeling healthier. Because this is a prime example. When you get into community, when you come into community, when you feel the energy, the smiles, you see the smiles, and you interact with other people. This is traditional African, and yes, we did gather in circles, but those circles were more than just a circle. In a circle, you enter as one person. But when you join hands and you join community with those other people, then you become one. One in heartbeat, one in love, one in mutual understanding. And it's not easy to be angry or hold something against someone you have to stand in a circle and hold their hand. After a while, all that disappears, and all you can feel is humanity. So I welcome you to reach out to someone today, to give them a smile. And even in this COVID time, if you feel comfortable, reach out and touch someone's hand. I guarantee you, it's not for them, it's for you. You'll feel better. You'll feel better. So I'm going to invite Jade because she told you a little bit about herself. Do you have anything else you want to say right now about you and your journey here?
Well, specifically in New Orleans or just like in
Your
this
journey.
space?
Your
My
journey is your journey.
Okay, well, where do I start? So I guess I'll talk about like my musical journey and how I've been evolving, through the years. I started out I started going to church. My dad always took me to church after like Hurricane Katrina. The city, I guess, or people in the city definitely wanted to feel a sense of community after like being displaced from New Orleans. So after we came back in 2006, we started going to church, leaning on people, and that's when I started to sing. I started leading praise and worship. I was really shy, so it took me a while to step out. I was doing choir at first, and then like my parents saw that I kind of took a likeness to music, so they put me in piano classes. But it was only for a short time, like maybe a year or so. I did not have good practice habits at 6 and 7 years old. I wanted to go swimming every day, even in December. And so shortly after that, I continued singing in church. And then around like 11 years old, I started to pick up piano again and started taking it more seriously. And then I started diving in a whole bunch of other instruments. I've always loved playing instruments. So I started flute, then went on to bass guitar, then I went into marching band, started playing tuba. I was like, yeah, I really want to get into this thing. Yeah. That was 4 years at Endicott Marching Band. Yeah, check them out. I think they're the best band in the city. I don't want to say nothing about the other bands, but Endicott, I don't know about. But yeah, started doing marching band, and then went on to undergrad at Xavier, started developing my voice even more. So now I'm at UNO, working on my master's in jazz studies. So I'm continuing to to develop. And funnily enough, I started doing drums back in high school too. I would go to Congo Square on some Sundays, and like just it was amazing just seeing this community, seeing people going meeting up at a place. I can only for like although I was like maybe 14, 15 at the time, I never seen anything like that. Although I was living here, my parents were kind of like not from here, so like I got a taste of like another side of New Orleans. So yeah, I don't want to take too much time.
Well,
but
you
yeah.
know, Jade, you bring us into a perfect place because we were talking about how community brings wellness.
Yeah.
And you talked about church. For us, Congo Square is a spiritual experience. We stand on the ground, and as I stand on this ground, the vibrations of my ancestors are constantly with me. I love being barefooted because I feel very sensitive to what's happening under my feet. It like emits another soul, another spirit. And that's the thing that these drums have done for us. It's a healing circle. And right now, as we talk more about healing, the healing of Congo Square, and we invite you to join us on Sundays from 3 to 6 p.m., right down the street almost, 700 block of North Rampart. Join us in Congo Square for a healing experience, for the totality of wellness. But right now, Baba Luther, I'd like to take us back to the Mali Empire. And you talked about the drums in the Mali Empire. But the Mali Empire gave us so much. And we have to remember that Africa, the great continent of Africa, has now been divided into all these little countries. It was divided because of colonialist greed. Africa is not a poor continent. Africa is rich in everything that the world needs. You often see it portrayed as a poor nation, I say. It's not a nation, first of all, it's a continent. And it was made of great empires where great kings and queens ruled, and they kept peace. And in times of peace, the people prosper. In times of war, the politicians prosper. So they maintained peace. And in maintaining that peace, there were great libraries. People came from all over the known world to come to Mali. It was a trade route. It not only had great stores of libraries, yes, Africans read and write. My God, what a novel thought. And yes, it was also a trade center. Salt was more valuable than gold. It had great salt stores. So the great Mali Empire has a dance, rhythm, song that is dedicated to both mental healing, and unlike in this country, the United States, and many Western countries, when a person is mentally ill, we discard them. We see them on our streets of our cities. We don't stop to look at them. We try not to see them because they might remind us of our humanity if we did. Look at them. There are people under there. There are people there. But in Mali and other African countries, a person who is ill is embraced. If I can't comb my hair, someone's going to comb it. Someone's going to groom me. Someone's going to bathe me. Someone's going to feed me. And my community, if I'm in Mali, may play this rhythm for me. And it might go on for days until the healing spirit of the drum can touch my inner self and bring me back to my reality. So I'm going to invite the drummers to start the lamban rhythm for me. We're going to do a little singing. I'll do the singing this time. And some movement to lamban. Lamban is also a rhythm, not only mental health, it's a rhythm of flirtation. And when the king would choose his wives from among the eligible virgins, they would then do this dance. It's also a dance of celebration. So as we celebrate you and the work you do all over the country, as we pray your healing and your flirtatious side, we're going to play lambon. First rhythm my 18-month-old grandson learned to play. Wola bo masia inkelibo ila ila simbo masia ejalia wola bo masia inkelibo ila ila simbo masia ejalia.
Take your right hand and put it over your heart to feel your heartbeat. Over there too. If you can't find it there, go to your wrist. See if you can find your pulse.
I know I can find mine.
I know Mama Jamila can find hers.
No,
If
I've
you
been
can't find it there, go to your temple. And if you can't find it there, go to your butt. Can you feel it over there?
No. I feel good though.
And if you can't
Like I
find it
knew I
there,
would.
you better find a phone and dial 911 because you must be catching a heart attack. So the whole thing about this music, about New Orleans and this Africanness is this. We have so many influences. I mean, like the whole concept of New Orleans, first of all, it was a place of indigenous people. And they had Congo Square, they had all the indigenous. This was the place of where all the indigenous people met along this river to trade before the arrival of the Europeans. But what they had was, they had communities, they had rhythms, they had drums, and they knew how to communicate. And so this is why it's so, we have all these traditions here in New Orleans about the drumming and the dance. And that's why in New Orleans, y'all might, those of you who live here, you know what I'm talking about, those of you who are visiting, when you hear some music in New Orleans, you just don't sit there and watch it. You got to start moving and clapping your hands because the whole thing is that drums, dance, and the vocals and the melodies all go together, and they create healing, and that's what Mama Jamila was talking about. Thank you.
So that healing comes from the fact that even though we were many people from many lands, and we give honor to our native brothers and sisters, those whose names I may not remember, but those whose spirit will never be forgotten. So always we pay homage to them, because when we came, not when we came, when we were stolen and brought to this land, our native brothers and sisters embraced us. They embraced us and took us into community. And many of us became Maroons. We were called Maroons because what happens, and they said red, but they were actually brown people like us. And they looked so much like us that when we lived among them, the enslavers could not find us. And how are you going to find me if I'm hiding in my place? So the native people brought us into their communities. They nurtured us and cared for us. And so when you see our Mardi Gras Indians, our black masking Mardi Gras Indians today, it's to pay homage to those people who took us at a time when we ran away, we had a place to go. And they nurtured us, and they healed us, and they brought us into their communities. As today, we're inviting a new brother who is joining us from Nigeria into this community and circle here. And so Brother Lycon is going to share with us just a little bit about his journey, and he's going to offer a rhythm from Lagos, Nigeria also. Do you want the mic? Whatever you want to say. Just...
Hello, everybody. My name is Olalekan Babalola. I am from Lagos, Nigeria. Of course, my story is different. But I'm here for the healing process as well, because my people contributed a large part to the transatlantic slave trade with the European. By the way, I live in England. So I'm here from my country representing my people to do a healing for myself and with my brothers and sisters that we exchange in stupidity to the European. It's a trade, and it was a business of that time. Please forgive me, my English is not good like them, but I'm sure you can understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
So I'm going to share with you a rhythm from Nigeria, and it's used in Ghana because it's next door to us in West Africa. By the way, a lot of, I'm doing kind of a juxtaposition as well. I'm finding out things here in New Orleans. I'm a guest. Lagos is like New Orleans. It's by the sea. And that's why it's easy to traffic people to New Orleans. It's very easy. So I'm from home to home. But it's a new home here. I'm finding crayfish, jambalaya, which is like a jollof rice.
Jollof rice, yes.
And then I'm finding gumbo, which is like ila sepo. Okra, we call it ila. And I'm going to share you a rhythm which is called palongo. Is you dance to the left, to the right, and you dance to the left. So it's, if you don't mind everybody to get up and do it with me, and then I will do the thing. So the heartbeat Mr. Gray is talking about is very easy. If you put your hand in your heart, you hear nothing but zero. But you hear a beat there, right? Which is, so we might clap it. And while we're clapping it, we dance to the right and left. So keep it going, and this is my palongo. Keep your clap going. Yeah. I can't hear the clap.
And you know, what we just did is very significant, and it's what we did in Congo Square. We've identified 19 indigenous nations that have been brought to this land as enslaved people, that built the buildings that you see around us, that laid the brick, that did the beautiful ironwork. And when you look into that ironwork, you see examples of the life of those people. My brother talked about Ghana, and many African nations had symbol words also. And when you look into that ironwork, you see very prominently African signs. Sankofa is one of the most important ones. Well, it's one of the most frequent ones that you see. And I guess it is very important to our indigenous people and our brothers and sisters because it says to look back. And that's all they had was a glimpse back. And it said to take what was good and bring it forward, but also to pass it on. And that's what our brothers and sisters did. They passed it on, as we are the examples today. And as Congo Square lives, those 19 indigenous nations didn't just stay in their own pockets. The Nigerians didn't stay in one side of the square, the circle in the square. They joined with the brothers and sisters from Sierra Leone. They joined with the brothers and sisters from the Congo, and they made new rhythms and new families and new love. And one of the loves they brought in this love of the drum was a rhythm that we still play today, and New Orleans is most well known for. And I'm gonna have Baba Luther come talk to you a little bit and demonstrate that rhythm and how it was shared from our Congolese brothers and sisters and is the rhythm of New Orleans.
That's right, that's right. So everybody knows about the second line in New Orleans, is that right?
Yeah.
The whole history of the second line is based on jazz funerals. The first line would be the walk from the church to the cemetery with the body and the family. The second line would be the people from the community walking behind them. Of course, the jazz musicians would be playing songs like A Closer Walk with Thee and all the great hymns that would go with someone going to their resting place. But this rhythm came from the Congo. And so we were really, it was called the bambula. So for a long time, we in New Orleans, we knew about the second line, but we really didn't know that the second line was the bambula. We thought that it had disappeared, it became extinct, but it had evolved to what we now know as the second line. So the bass drum goes like this, the doom-doom. Everybody stand up. Clap, 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 step, step, clap. With the wild bamboozlers. Wild bamboozlers. Wild bamboozlers. Wild bamboozlers. Hey, there's a hako, who done there? Wild bamboozlers. Wake up, it's about
all, from wherever you are around the country, we pray that this healing circle, that this offer of love, this offer of wellness brought you to a place of better understanding of your connection to every breathing soul in the world. Take that with you. Share it with someone. You never know how much your smile means to someone. Peace, love, and unity, always.
And one more thing, we want to invite everybody who's still in town this weekend out to Congo Square as we celebrate the last weekend of the Congo Square Roots of Jazz Residency with the great Jason Marcellus from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock this Sunday in Congo Square. All the great drummers will be in artistic collaboration with Jason Marcellus, and we've been celebrating his music and his family's lineage, but also when you think about the main instrument of New Orleans, some people might say it's the trumpet, but really, what is the main what is the main musical instrument of New Orleans?
The drum.
It's the drum. So join us in Congo Square. Thank y'all so much for the National Park Service. Thank y'all for y'all support over the years so much. Thank y'all. Peace and love. Happy Carnival!
All right, we hope that you all did enjoy such a wonderful presentation of one, the African American roots, and two, presentation of New Orleans music. Again, thank you to Baba Luther, Mama Jamila, Sir Lycon from Nigeria, Ranger Jade, and again, my name is Hunter Miles Davis. Whenever you're in New Orleans, make sure you stop by, visit us, as you will have a great time as we just did. Again, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay.